to the All Ireland hurling games, especially if Tipperary were involved. And back that time there were some big battles between Tipperary and Wexford and Tipperary and Limerick. And, the radio failing right at one point. I remember my father getting so frustrated, he pounded with his fist. It started up again and went out.
Do you remember some of the radio shows that you guys would have been
listening to? Yes. Living with Lynch, Joe Lynch program. Take the Floor was another one. School Around the Corner, Paddy Crosby. Some of them were the
Gailey House, probably.
Gailey House also, yes, there was. Yes, still on Saturday nights. Yes, we now listen to it on the internet.
There was also another. I remember when I was young. I'm sure you had to listen to it too, but there were namesakes, the Kennedys of Castle Ross.
Yes, that was a yes. We used to, of course, get that.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yes, that was during the daytime hours, which the men didn't get to hear, but the women did.
I remember my mother bringing the radio out to the meadow.
Oh, so she wouldn't miss the Kennedys of Castle Ross. Yeah.
The Kennedys of Castle Ross.
Yeah.
Well, we went through fairly fast there on through your whole coming to America and your life back. I have a feeling I missed something. Is there something I didn't hit on that you can think of? I also did want to bring up, you had an aunt that was very close to you. I know we didn't say anything about her. I know this because I know you, so she just passed away a couple
Yes, that's the aunt that was married to my uncle.
Okay.
And she was also my stepmother. And she passed away recently, and we used to go back quite a bit to visit her. Yeah, she passed away.
Okay. Yeah. And that was very commendable, very nice.
I remember talking about older people. I remember one aunt who died, and I was getting older at the time, and she was in a nursing home, and she was 86 years old, and she said it wasn't a bad place except for the old ladies that were in there. But later on, she whether it was dementia or what it was, she spoke English or Irish when she was a kid. And didn't speak it then and she went back and she used to say her prayers in Gaelic and hadn't said them for probably 70 years, 80 years, but went back to saying her prayers in Gaelic and stuff before she died.
The language came back.
Yeah, it came back for some reason, yeah. I don't know why, but it did. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you two things actually before we wrap up. One is how much, and I know you did quite a bit of travel, but just talk a little bit about traveling you did here in America.
Yeah.
And then I also just want you to talk a little bit about traveling you did in Ireland, because most of us travelled Ireland after we left Ireland.
Yes, so did I. Yes, I did.
We'll start with America.
Except for our honeymoon. We toured around a little bit on our honeymoon. That was the first time I ever toured around Ireland.
Let's talk about that then.
But I remember on our honeymoon, Cork, Wexford, Wicklow, Dublin, went across to Galway, the Ring of Cork and Kerry, Cove, Kinsale, all those places that I haven't been back to a lot of them since then. But usually when we go to Ireland, we don't tour around that much. I've never been to the Aran Islands yet, which I would love to go. So there's some things. I haven't seen the Giant's Causeway. I've never seen that. Been to Belfast already, but never seen the Giant's Causeway. So
something to see.
There's a few things I want to see yet. So.
And North Donegal is
yes, right, yeah.
But America, you got to do a little touring around.
Yes, got to see quite a bit. A lot of it due to the music, being involved with the music, and going to the conventions every year, and some of the places. Got involved in running. I didn't mention I got involved in running back here again. Got involved again. Went back to running again. And ran when I was going to school, stopped for several years, ran when I was a teenager, early 20s again, and stopped again for nearly 20, 30 years. I went back again to running, and 15 straight years, I ran 2,500 miles a year for 15 straight years. I have more mileage than a lot of cars. And run New York Marathon about 10 times. I have about 400 trophies and medals for running. Most of them from here. So I loved every minute of it, and then got some injuries, really not related to running. I got a back injury and an arm injury from work, and had to have discs removed and stuff like that. So that curtailed my running, and haven't gone back. Threatening to go back to running. Loved every minute of it. Loved running, and the people who were involved in running. Yeah.
Do you walk? Do you do?
I don't. Never liked walking.
Never liked
walking.
Yeah.
We had a thing saying, if you can, why sit if you can stand?
Right. Yeah.
Why stand if you can walk?
Yeah.
Why walk if you can run?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and one more thing, just to get back to radio,
Sure.
We end our programs every night, every time we end our program with teach your children your heritage, otherwise someone else may teach them theirs.
And that's very important.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Your own three sons are very conscious of their
They are, yes, they are.
heritage and
Yes,
where
they
came
are.
from.
Yes, they are. Yeah, all of them can speak a word or two of Gaelic, a little bit, because they learned it because we used to speak to each other in Irish, so that they wouldn't know what we were saying, and eventually they figured it out. Yes, what we were talking about. Yeah.
You also carried on another tradition that I just became aware of in the last few months. You're teaching all of them how to do some building or working, since you have the house over there, the all went over there.
Yes, right. Yes, right. Yeah. Yes. Well, I want to pass on the tradition that my father taught us, and his father taught him. By the way, yeah, his father was a carpenter,
Sure.
so it went on. So I think it's a good thing to be able to do that. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great. Pat, I think we've exhausted the hour here, and if there's any other things that I've left out, jump in and feel free to talk about them. You know.
Well.
Any things I haven't hit on?
Haven't hit on. I was president of the Pioneer Total Absence Association in New Haven for a couple of years. John was secretary for several years, so we got involved in that as well. So we had to back away from a lot of them. We were just getting in over our heads and not able to keep up with all of them. So, especially since we intend.
Do you have people joining the Pioneer?
Yes, still join. Yeah.
Are the young people still joining?
Yes, we still did.
Do you find, and I've been an ex-Pioneer.
Yeah.
But one of the things we did find that the Pioneer Association was great to get young people over those tough years.
Yes, right, yeah, right.
You find that
Lots of
true?
people. See, I never drank.
Right.
My wife is also a Pioneer. She never drank. Yeah. So it's easier. I think it's a lot easier for us to be non-drinkers than it is for somebody who drank and gave it up and quit. You know, I think it's a lot easier. I always admire somebody who used to drink or drink heavy and quit. You know, I mean, it's a lot easier for us who never. It's like smoking. If you never smoked, it never bother. You know, yeah. Yes.
Okay, Pat. Thank you very much for coming down.
You're welcome.
Having the interview, and it was a lot of fun for me.
It was interesting. Reminiscing a little bit.
Very interesting.
Which you do when you get older.
Yeah. Thanks, Pat.
Welcome.